Hello, my name is Noparat Analalaki Hakam Singh and welcome to my PSM2 video presentation, the enhancement of real-time face recognition via video surveillance system. Now before I begin with my presentation, I would like to welcome the panels, Professor Lozlan and Dr. Shipun. I hope you and your family are doing well during this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the enhancement of real-time face recognition via video surveillance system. My supervisor is Puan Sharifah binti Saon and my co-supervisor is Professor Abdul Qadir bin Muhammad. So, for the introduction, now recently, video surveillance uses closed-circuit TV, also known as CCTV camera, to analyze a crowd of people, what are they doing, their activities, and the real-time face recognition can be applied into the CCTV. This face recognition system can be applied in several areas such as building entry, highway traffic, or airport terminal. Now, to improve the face recognition, some of the method has been applied. One of them, the most famous method, is hard cascade classifier proposed by Paul Viola and Michael Jones. The problem statement, the hard cascade can only able to scan the original faces. If there are face complications such as a mask cover the half of your face, or you wear glasses or even sunglasses, the face recognition accuracy will drop. Besides that, the hard cascade proposed by Paul Viola and Michael Jones has several corruptions such as illumination, noise, and occlusion. Now, the objectives of this project is to develop a surveillance security system that able to detect facial features. Next is to implement the gray level co-occurrence metric, also known as GLCM, into the system to increase the accuracy of face recognition. And lastly, to evaluate the performance of the security, because we use the hard cascade method and we implement another one, GLCM, into the system, surely the system may have a little bit delay. For the scope of study, Pi camera has been used with Raspberry Pi 3 Model B to develop the system. I also use the Tony Python IDE as the programming software, and also I use the OpenCV. OpenCV is a open source for computer vision. It is used for project like image processing. With the implementation of GLCM algorithm, the system should be able to scan faces precisely, even the half of the face has been covered. And lastly, the performance of face recognition with GLCM and hard cascade will be compared. For the literature review, the algorithm is the hard cascade and the GLCM that used in this system, as I mentioned before. But what is the hard cascade and GLCM? In theory, hard cascade is a classifier that used for object detections, while the GLCM is a technique of image analysis and tabulation of how often the different combination of gray levels co-occur in an image. For the experimental of hard cascade it was implemented to reduce a 8-bit color image. Then it will extract, recognition, calculate, and then recognize the image. For GLCM experimental base, The GLCM direction of analysis is based on the horizontal and the vertical diagonal. For the advantage of fast cascade, it is a fast calculation speed because it used to reduce 8-bit image. As for the GLCM advantage is it uses a mathematical approach that enable for more detail in image texture, but also they have their own disadvantage. For hard cascade, the disadvantage is the because of its fast calculation, right? It needs the high performance computer to run. Well, the GLCM disadvantage is because of it uses a mathematical approach. It is very sensitive to the size of the samples. Now for the methodology, the system will start by gather the face data, usually in image of the person that wants to be identified, and then this image will store in a folder called dataset. After that, the image will be texturized using the GLCM texture features. Next is of course we have to train the system to so that the system would know that this image is belong to who, what should the system name it, and lastly of course we will have the face recognized. Now this is the block diagram of the phases in this system. Phase number 1 is, as mentioned just now, the data gathering. Phase number 2, GLCM image texturizing. Phase number 3 is train recognizer, and lastly the face recognition. Alright, next is the results. Now this first result is the comparison between the system that use both GLCM and hard cascade compared with the system that only use hard cascade. As you can see, for the first sample use the both of this algorithm, and the accuracy obtained is at 68%, while the system that only use hard cascade is the system recognized at only 37%. Now if the person was not in the database, the system will recognize it as unknown, as shown in the third sample. Alright, next result is the face complication. As you can see, the sample number 1, number 2 and number 3 is only one part covered. The mouth part is where I covered my mouth with face mask, my head with cap, and my eye with glasses. The accuracy we obtain is for one part covered is all above 50%. Now when we get to two part covered, the accuracies all of it is below 50%. As you can see, the sample number 4, my face is covered and my eyes also covered. The system recognized is at 49%. Now this one is a continuation from the first of face covered results, and this one also we have 2 part covered and lastly the 3 part covered. Now the 3 part covered is where I covered all my face, the head, the eyes and the mouth. The accuracy I obtained is at 43%. Now the next result is based on the distance between my face with the camera. At 0.3 meters, the accuracy is pretty impressive at 63%, As I move a bit further away from the camera, the accuracy is dropped, but the system is still recognized. The maximum for the distance is at 1.3 meter. Accuracy is at 19%. Now if I move further away from the camera, which is at 1.5 meter, the system won't recognize. But the beauty of hard cascade and GLCM is even at 1.5 meter, it will still have a face and eye detections. Alright, so the last part of the result is the face angle. How I face into the camera at different angles. For example, at the 90 degrees, I was facing to the left, all the way left. And of course, the system won't recognize it. The system only recognizes my face at 45 degrees, which with the accuracy at 53%. And then as I face more directly to the camera, the accuracy is increased. At the 0 degree angle, the system recognizes my face at 61%. Now for the minus 25 is where I turn my face to the right until 90 degrees. The same result obtained above negative 45 degree, the system won't recognize me. Okay. Now before I conclude my presentation, I would like to show the demonstration part of the video. Okay, so this is the demonstration part of the presentation. Before I go to the demonstration, I'd like to explain a little bit about the codings that I use. So right now we are in the BNC Viewer. BNC Viewer is the application for me to remote control my Raspberry Pi without connecting any monitor to my Raspberry Pi, so I control it using my laptop. So as I mentioned before, there are 4 phases in this system. So let's go to the phase number 1. So here is the coding for phase number 1, which the get data set. Now this coding is where the system will take my image of the face and store it in the folder called dataset. Now in this coding, I already set it to take 200 of face sample, and after that we will save in here. So this is all 200 of images that we just get. Now for phase number 2 is where the GLCM texturizing. So here I'm using 2 of the features, which is the gray matrix and deco props. So here is where the properties of GLCM is used. The properties that I'm using is the dissimilarity and correlation. And these 2 properties will apply at the background location, which this is the 5 location I've set. So after it was texturizing the image, it will save in the dataset folder. Okay, so this is phase number 3. This is the where the system will train the recognizer to recognize the image from the folder dataset. Okay, after it was run, it will save the file in the trainer folder here as trainer.yml. And this is the last phase of the enhancement of real-time face recognition via video
paste the ID that I want to be recognized, and then if the system doesn't recognize, it will just say unknown if the percentage is below 0%. So right now let's just see the demonstration.
Alright, so as a conclusion, all the objectives stated before for this study has been completed. The system was, I would say, was reliable than most of face recognition. In conclusion, all of the objectives I stated before in this study have been completed. The system was reliable with human face detection, human face recognitions, but there are a little bit of limitations. These limitations did. Alright, one more time. In conclusion, all of the objectives that I stated before in this study have been completed. The system was reliable with human face detection and human face recognitions, but there are a little bit of limitation in this system. These limitations are such as after I press the play button, the run button, it will have a little bit millisecond delay for the live camera feed to pop up the windows into the windows. In conclusion, all of the objectives that I've stated before has been completed. The system was reliable with human face detection as well as the human face recognition, but there are also limitations in this system. Now this limitation such as after I press run on the system, it has a little bit delay before the windows for live camera feed to pop up. Okay, recommendation for this system is apply a different GLCM properties or maybe add 2 or more properties into the system to increase the accuracy of face recognition. Secondly is apply a door lock system. For example, use the solenoid lock if the project was security based. And lastly, apply Internet of Things. For example, if the project was attendance record project, it could record the timestamp when the face is recognized, and then it will upload into the internet for cloud or Google Drive. So that's all for my presentation video. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, please ask me during Q&A session this Tuesday 28th of July. Thank you for listening.